Three, two, one.
Here we go.
Hey, everybody. We are back for another episode, another week. This is a good one. And I'm going to bet everybody has a story around this particular topic. Okay. Because this particular topic is how avoiding hard conversations, oh my gosh, how it's killing your leadership. All right. I want to paint a picture for you. You've got someone on your team. They're missing some deadlines. They are a little sloppy. You hear from someone down the hall that so-and-so just didn't do it the way that you thought that it needed to be done. Like you're hearing conversations around the water cooler. I mean, I'm old, so that's what we call it, the water cooler conversations. So you're hearing conversations around the water cooler about how, Susie Q or Johnny G or whatever, they're a little sloppy. They're not terrible though, but they're not great either. And every time you think about addressing it, because you're the manager, you got to say something. You say to yourself, oh, I've got too much. There's just too much going on. I've got it. I'll deal with this next week. There's just too much. I've got a laundry list. I don't have the time to deal with this right now. I'll deal with it next week. And then next week, it becomes 2 weeks. And then it becomes a month. And then a couple of months. And then you're looking at a 90-day review period, or, a half a year has gone by. Has this ever happened? I mean, I'm asking you to raise your hand. Has this ever happened to you? Oh my gosh, it's happened to me. Next week, it turns into next month. Now you're just annoyed. Your tone is off. You're shorter with them in meetings. Like this whole passive aggressive thing starts happening, right? It just naturally does. And they are sitting there thinking, wait, what's up? What did I do? And let me tell you, that disconnect, you as a leader, that's on you, my friend. And I hate to break it to you, but it is. It's on you. Here's the thing. Why do leaders avoid having these conversations? Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. Yes, we are all freaking busy, right? We all have a million things that we are trying to navigate and manage. And there's just so many balls up in the air, right? But here's what's really happening. You're not avoiding the conversation because you're too busy. I mean, that's the thing that we tell ourselves, right? But you're avoiding it because you don't want to damage the relationship. You're not exactly sure how they're going to react. I mean, are they going to freak out? Are they going to be okay? You don't have the words as well too, because like you're kind of flustered yourself. Maybe you're like, oh my gosh, how's this going to work out? And here's the kicker. And this is the big kicker of it all. The longer you wait, the harder it gets, right? I mean, what was it? I think we've all heard the term, just rip the Band-Aid, rip the darn Band-Aid, right? And there's some truth in that, because when you rip it, it's like you get it done, you get it over, and then you can move on to healing. Because now you're not addressing just one issue. You're going to be unloading 6 months of frustration. Because that's what happens when we get ticked off, when we get upset, when we see like months and months and months of, not great behavior, not great things, sloppy work being done and that kind of thing. Now it's not just one thing that you want to talk to them about. It's now like 800 things long, right? And we've all been in conversations where someone has unloaded on us, and it's like, it's not just become the one thing. It's now, like I said, 800 million things. And you're like, wait, like, how do I even make any of this better? And I'm going to be really honest with you. People leave conversations like that going, I'm never going to be able to make you happy. Right. So I might as well just go look for something else. Okay. And I'm going to be really honest there too. Sometimes it's better for them to go look and find something else. And sometimes, again, shame on you for not having that conversation, because you could have fixed it a long time ago. And frankly, the 800 million things, it was really only one thing, but now it's been blown up into 800 million things as well. Okay. Avoiding one conversation doesn't stay contained. It spreads. Here's what it quietly creates inside your team as well too. It creates so much freaking confusion. People are actually thinking when they leave those meetings, like, what actually matters around here? Because it sure as heck ain't me, right? I mean, that's what they're thinking. They're thinking resentment. Why am I the only one carrying the load? I mean, I was having lunch with a friend today she's in nonprofit leadership and that kind of thing. And her VP of development, who this woman was hired to take care of, major events for the organization and that kind of thing. And supposedly came with this great resume and whatnot. And it's flat, right? I mean, and actually my friend ended up having to fire this person as well to, let them go. But she was holding so much resentment. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm not only doing my job, but I'm doing your job. And you should have been doing this, that, and the other. And what? Why am I the one who's carrying all of the load? And now my friend is like, oh my gosh, I'm not paid enough for this. I mean, you see how like the bubble just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? There's inconsistency. Are standards real or optional? Right? Because people are watching, and your top performers, man, they're watching you like a hawk, and they're making decisions about whether to stay based on what you tolerate. Woo, that stung, right? Let me say this as clearly as possible. What you don't address, you approve. Not intentionally either, but behavior you tolerate, it becomes the culture. Okay. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, but what do I actually say? Like, what can I actually do? I'm going to give you a super practical structure to put into place. Okay. So here's a simple 3-part structure that you can use immediately. All right. Number 1, we've got to name the thing. And it's got to be fact based as well, too. And you say, hey, Johnny, I keep on using Johnny and Susie. I don't know a Johnny and a Susie. I mean, I know a John, but I don't know a Susie actually. But anyway, I want you to name the thing. Hey, Johnny, Susie, I've noticed the last 2 projects have gone over hours. We bid out this and we're way over at this point. Okay. It's something that I've noticed. Number 2, you're going to clarify the impact. That's putting pressure on our margins and the team. So, hey, I've noticed the last 2 projects have gone over hours, and that's putting pressure on our margins and the team. And then number 3, you're going to reset the expectation. Going forward, we're going to need to hit that budget that we set. Let's talk about what needs to change. Okay, let's talk about it. Listen, we're going to have a conversation. That's it. No fluff. You're not attacking anybody. You're not dancing around the thing, right? You're putting it out there. You're naming it, and it's got to be fact based, y'all. We can't, use other people's opinions. We can't use hearsay. We can't use what was said over the water cooler. I want you to have your facts straight. There is nothing more maddening than getting information that is hearsay or somebody actually didn't put thought into finding out if it was fact based or not. Total side note, I'm involved in a committee, a group of people. And there was one of the members of the group, put out an email, making a whole bunch of assertions and statements that were inaccurate. They were not fact based. And here's the thing. Like this woman actually had, some interesting things. I know who this person is, and she actually had some interesting things that probably needed to be addressed at some point. But the fact of the matter is she didn't have her facts straight, and immediately like that fractures integrity, right? And so, at so many levels. And so it's like, okay, you don't even have your facts straight. You didn't even put your stuff together before you came to us with this problem in the first place. Like, I don't even know if I believe you, right? Okay. So you have to be fact based or integrity becomes fractured. Okay. So, hey, I've noticed the last 2 projects have gone over for hours. That is fact based and we're naming it. Number 2, we're clarifying the impact. It's putting pressure on our margins and our team. We don't want to do that. And I know that you probably don't want to do that either. We don't want to put all these, especially for some of my professional services people, it's like we have certain busy times of the year. And these people are already stressed beyond all belief anyway. We don't want to put more pressure on them. Nobody wants to do that. So we've got to clarify the impact. It's putting pressure on our margins and on the team. I know nobody wants that. And we've got to reset the expectation going forward. We've got to hit this budget that we set. Let's talk about what you think might need to change. Okay. And again, that's all you've got to say. All right. Now, one thing that I do want you to kind of take into consideration as well, too, is what I call the nonverbal tie-in. And we can't miss this part. It's not just what you say, it's how you show up when you say the thing. Okay. So if your tone is hesitant, if your body language is closed off, if you're softening everything to avoid discomfort, let me tell you, the person on the other end of the line, they feel it. Okay. Or they're sitting across your desk or whatever. They feel all of that and they're not going to take it seriously. So I want you to think about this: clear message plus confident delivery. That actually equals leadership. All right. Because I love, Brene Brown has this fantastic quote, and it's called, being clear is being kind, being unclear is being unkind. So I want you to be thinking about that when you're getting ready to have these hard conversations. Because I know it feels uncomfortable for some of my people-oriented people. They're like, oh, I don't want to do that because I hate having those hard conversations. It makes me feel uncomfortable, or it makes me feel bad, or whatever the feeling may be for you. I want you to think about naming that as well too. But instead, I want you to flip the narrative. Being clear is being kind. When we are not being clear with our expectations and the intended outcomes that we're seeking to deliver, we're not being kind to our team and our staff. We're not telling them explicitly what we want from them. So being clear is actually being kind. Okay. So here's the reality. Your team doesn't need to be perfect. Nobody is, right? But they need to be clear, and they need for you to be clear as well. They need to know where they stand, what matters, and what exactly needs to change. And that only happens through conversation. All right. So again, I know I've talked about this before as well too, and I just have to put it out there because this is what I do. But this is exactly what I help your team fix. In my half day workshop, we don't just talk about communication. We actually practice it. I mean, if there's one thing I love doing, and I sometimes get some eye rolls on this as well, it's the whole practicing and the role play. Real scenarios, real conversations, real language that you can use on that same day. And then we come back 30 days later and make sure that it actually sticks, because knowing what to say isn't the problem. Saying it in the moment actually is. Okay. So that's what I want you to think. And what you need to know before you have these conversations is people are paying attention. They're watching how you are showing up. They're watching how you are leading. They want to know where they stand. They want to know what matters. And they also need to know what exactly needs to change. All right. So if you found some value in this conversation, I sure hope that you forward this podcast to someone who needs it. And until then, let's fix the conversation. I'll see you next time.